Chapter 50, Death Trap. The scavenger was dead, but it wasn't Sunny's blade that had brought it down. He had been circling the beast, keeping low and silent, focused on not drawing attention before reaching the right angle for a surprise attack. In all that, he had only glimpsed the creature's back. So, he hadn't seen the vicious wound slicing from the top of the monster's torso down through its many legs, hidden beneath the relentless rain. Its once impervious shell had been split apart like fragile metal. Through the massive gash, shredded flesh and twisted innards were exposed, a slow stream of azure blood leaking out and vanishing under the pouring storm. Sunny swallowed hard. He might have felt silly about perfectly ambushing something already long dead, if not for the sheer dread of whatever had done this in the first place. His eyes darted around. Tension gripped him as he recalled the azure blade and cloaked himself in shadow. The small island was eerily still, save for the roar of the wind. Rain continued to fall, forming a hazy curtain that blurred every detail and concealed distant threats. Occasionally, lightning split the sky with blinding brilliance, followed closely by the earth-shaking boom of thunder. A creeping chill settled into Sunny's bones as he crept toward another scavenger. Even from afar, he knew it wasn't alive, but he had to be certain. As he approached, he saw the creature had nearly been cleaved in half. Its slick insides lay scattered across the ground like discarded meat. The darkness no longer felt like a hiding place. It had grown heavy, oppressive. By the time Sunny had examined all 8 of the black shapes, each confirmed as a slain scavenger, he was sick to his stomach. When he'd first realized what those forms were, he thought the situation couldn't possibly get worse. Now he wasn't so sure. In fact, he was convinced it had. Standing over the last carcass, he scanned the area, uncertain. Part of him wanted to retreat back to Nephis and Cassie. Maybe the nightmare that had done this had already moved on. They could hunker down and hope for the best. At least he wouldn't be alone. But the uncertainty, the maddening thought of something lurking just out of sight, would gnaw at him until dawn. And for someone with his fated attribute, blind optimism was a losing strategy. So, with cold sweat running down his spine, Sunny clenched his jaw and moved toward a nearby ridge that blocked the rest of the island from view. Keeping low and quiet, he climbed upward. It wasn't high, so he scaled it easily, pressing against the rock as he cautiously peeked over the top. Then instantly wished he hadn't. Just meters below, a massive shape loomed. A creature far larger than any scavenger, armored in a black and crimson shell. Jagged spikes jutted from its carapace like natural weapons, and where pincers should have been, it bore 2 terrifying bone scythes, each long and wickedly sharp, easily capable of slicing a scavenger in 2. Sunny froze, breath caught in his throat. That's the one. It was one of the beasts they'd seen earlier, the ones that had carved through hordes of scavengers to retrieve shards from the enormous shark's remains. Whether this was the same one or another of its kind, it didn't matter. It had slaughtered those 8 scavengers with ease, and it could do the same to 3 sleepers. Silently, Sunny lowered himself back down. His muscles shook with restrained panic. Inch by inch, he crept back down the ridge, praying he wasn't seen or sensed. By some miracle, the monster didn't react. Reaching the ground, he backed away step by step. Still facing the ridge, he finally turned and crept toward his companions. Minutes later, he rejoined Nephis and Cassie. The 2 girls waited anxiously in the dark. Before revealing himself, he whispered, "It's me." Nephis stepped forward, lowering her sword slightly. Her expression was tense. "What did you find?" she asked quietly. Sunny let out a shaky breath, finally feeling a small sense of relief. He was truly glad not to be alone anymore. There are 8 scavengers around us. All of them are dead. The one responsible is one of those crimson-marked beasts, the ones with the scythe arms. It's sheltering beneath a stone ridge not far from here. A flash of lightning illuminated the gloom. For a moment, twin sparks danced in Nephis' eyes before fading back to gray. She tilted her head. "An awakened beast," she muttered. Sunny wetted his lips. "Yeah, so, what do we do?" Nephis was silent for a few moments, leaning on her sword. Then she met his eyes. "We kill it." Sunny stared at her, dumbfounded. Eventually, he blurted out, "Are you insane?" Attacking that monstrosity was borderline suicide. Realizing how harsh that sounded, he quickly added, "I mean, have you really thought this through? How could we possibly beat something like that?" Nephice took a deep breath. "It's not about thinking it through. We don't have another option." She nodded toward Cassie before explaining, "We can't leave the cliffs before sunrise. Neither can it. But when daylight comes, it'll see us, and then we'll lose the element of surprise. If a fight is inevitable, we strike first." She scanned the dark surroundings. "It's not fully night yet. I can still see a little. Soon, even that will be gone. We need to act before then." Sunny shook his head. "That still doesn't explain how we kill it. It massacred 8 scavengers like they were nothing. We're not strong enough. We don't even know where it's vulnerable." Nephice frowned. "It's just an awakened beast." Sunny stared at her. "Just? Did you forget that we're sleepers? Normal people aren't supposed to handle things like this. The fact that we can even take on scavengers is already unheard of." She met his gaze, calm and unflinching. "But we're not normal." He opened his mouth, then closed it again. Nephice continued, "You and I aren't ordinary sleepers. We wouldn't have survived this place otherwise." Sunny didn't like where this was going, but she wasn't done. "With you, me, your echo, and a surprise attack, we have a real shot. It won't be easy. We might not make it, but it's better than waiting to die." She glanced at her blade. "We don't have a choice." Sunny clenched his jaw. He wanted to argue, but there was no flaw in her logic. Still, something about this fight felt wrong. In the silence, Cassie spoke softly. "You're forgetting our greatest advantage." Both turned to her. The blind girl lifted her head. "We have minds. It doesn't." Her words echoed through the gloom. Sunny sighed. This fight was going to happen. Later, he stood before the beast in the shadows, face grim, blade drawn. That foreboding sense hadn't faded. If anything, it had only grown stronger. "I really don't like this." With a breath, he raised his hand.